please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Today is August 13th, 2018. Have a roll call, please.
Missouri. Here. Basil.
Here.
Whaling.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Meyer. Here. Kraus.
Here. 50 minutes from the July 23rd meeting. Any changes? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second? There is a second. Any questions of the motion? Roll call.
Missouri. Yes. Basil.
Abstain.
Whaling.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Meyer. Yes. Kraus.
Yes.
Anyone from the audience wish to address the board?
Any audience?
Hey, reports of the commissions, beautification commission, man.
We didn't have a meeting last month, but we will be having one tomorrow night. Other than that, I don't have anything.
For the July commission, trustee Meyer.
Just working on trying to balance everything from the 4th of July. I started today and screeched to a halt after about 3 hours. So I'll be working on it again tomorrow.
Youth commission, trustee Missouri.
The only thing I really have is that we're working on our upcoming event, which is called On the Square, September 21st. It's kind of a back-to-school event. It's an open gym in Crown Point. I'll have more information at the next meeting. And our next meeting is this Wednesday here at the Village Hall at 7:30.
And the planners are coming, correct?
The planners are coming, that is correct. They're coming to get our ideas.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Historic preservation, trustee Miller.
We have a meeting coming up this Wednesday at 6 p.m. We're still working on the plaque program as far as getting things done. I don't know if you guys have seen them around town, but you know they're going up slowly but surely. But that's kind of where we're at right now. So I'll give you an update next month. That's it.
Treasurer's report, trustee Basil.
Donna, treasurer's report?
Okay. The total of the village accounts at the end of July, $2,983,311.07. The total of the commission accounts, $213,256.37. The total of all of the accounts together, $3,196,567.44. Total in general, $867,991. The total of the commission non-AP payments, $323,196.06. And that's all I've got.
Most of the
Any
bills
questions?
were paid were commission bills, 4th of July.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I think it was, 99,586.
And we're also paying John Hernandez per contract, his payment, which shows up on your report,
It does,
because he's not running the regular payroll.
correct.
Any questions of Donna or myself for the prior month's financial activity? If not, I'd like to make a motion approving the treasurer's report and the report of financial activity for the prior month.
Motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Kraus.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Capros.
Yes.
Whaling.
Yes.
Basil.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Various reports for the preceding month are enclosed for your review. And the approval of the bills for the prior month. We do have a couple, in addition to the ones that are in front of us here. Well, the highlighted ones obviously are additions from Friday. But Johnny on the spot, when you get to that, it should be $955 instead of $450. There was a bill that came in late that we needed to pay for a difference of $505 added to the $450, making making the Johnny on the spot 9:55. Any questions of the bills?
If I can, on page 5, you notice there's a bill, whatever you want to call it, for Barb Hodges. And in the past, we've done, I know 2 times in my reign, and apparently before when Paul was here, if one of our trees happened to damage a house or a car, and we submit the claim to the insurance company, our insurance company, and the insurance company would turn down the claim. We have offered to at least reimburse the resident for their deductible. And on July 5th, that's exactly what happened, is a parkway tree fell on her car and was pretty much engulfed the car, and she went ahead and had her car fixed, and her deductible was $250, and I told her to go ahead and give us the bill, and then we'd see what the village board. I know I have talked to a couple trustees say they no longer think it's a good idea to continue this practice or this policy. It's nothing in writing, it's just something that we've done to show good faith that it's one of our trees that fell, which, you know, I mentioned before that I think we should get out of the tree business. Even they paid for the tree, they put it in the parkway, but from what I'm being told, because it's in our parkway, it becomes our tree. But anyways, that's a different conversation. So anyways, that's an explanation of the bill, and I would open it up to the board for what's your pleasure.
So I guess I got 2 questions. One being, it was submitted to insurance, correct, and denied?
It's submitted to our insurance, denied, her insurance paid.
So, I mean, as far as like out of the tree business,
It's sort of different.
outside, yeah,
It's
cause
just-
it's, I mean, we have insurance, so if something that we are liable for, our insurance covers it and pays her deductible. So, I mean, that's just my question. You know, obviously, I talked to the mayor about it, I was one of them that called on it and asked some questions. I'll go with whatever the board, you know, the rest of the board's thinking, but, I mean, I think you gotta stop that. That's why we got insurance. We're not insuring ourselves. You're insuring yourself, you pay deductibles.
Well, the insurance denied it because of an act of God, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
But we're responsible for that. And that, if we pay this, we're saying that.
No, there's a letter that was written in the 2 that I dealt with, one of which was a tree hit a house, the other one was a tree hit a house and a car. That was way back early on in my tenure. In both of these cases, I forgot what you asked me. Let me make my point. In both of these cases, the one that hit the house, the homeowner asked us to take the tree down. We said no, there was nothing wrong with the tree, and within a month later, 2 months later, the tree went on the house and damaged the house.
And there's nothing wrong with this tree that fell, except that a branch broke in a
I
storm.
cannot say that for sure. Did you happen to look at the tree branch?
Yeah, I mean, the tree's still alive. Yeah, the tree's, it's like a whole limb snapped
Yeah, I
off.
think.
The only thing,
Yeah.
that on this particular tree, a whole branch like that fell off once before. And I can't explain why that tree wasn't taken down then, because there's an unwritten policy that if a tree comes down like that or damages a house and a car, we automatically take it down. In this case, we didn't. But that could have been at the homeowner's request as well. The homeowner could have just said, I'd leave it up, I don't know.
I mean, my only thing is I mentioned this to you, what if this deductible is $1,000? What if this branch hit 5 cars? I mean, we're shelling out $5 grand for a branch.
It could happen. I'll give you a different scenario, is the whole, what I see a flaw in this is, but I look at it a little differently, is that if a tornado comes through town, God help us, you know, God hope it never does, and we have a series of these, are we gonna pay those? But most likely not, because probably the tornado is what took the tree down. Okay, in this particular case, I was home, I didn't think it was that bad. Next thing you know, I get the phone call saying, I got a tree down on top of a car, and I went to try and move it without bothering Public Works. There ain't no way it was gonna do that. So Public Works was out.
Yeah, I mean, if this isn't written, I have an issue with that, and I have an issue with where do we stop? Where does it end? How many people have had this happen and not known about this because they didn't know who to ask or whatever, and then do they come back and we say yes, or?
Well,
I think this opens a big door that we shouldn't even be looking at.
I'm just curious, what if a car or something was total and and it wasn't a deductible issue, are we then responsible to replace that car because insurance wouldn't?
It depends on the circumstances. I mean, that's sort of a, if he has no insurance, we're not responsible in any event. That's why the
It's
insurance
just that
company is
they-
saying,
that
we
we've
have
done
no
this.
we have no liability here. Okay, it's an offer of just, we claim it's our trees, and apparently in the past, it's been an offer of good gesture, helping the resident out. Now, we talked about a scenario today, change it a little bit. If this car was parked on the street and was a non-resident, would we consider it? In my mind, no. You know, it's a resident's car that was parked in front of a residence in Beecher. So that's the two stipulations, and they had to fix their car. Those are like the three stipulations of what we've done before. That's what happened in this case.
I don't know if you can really have a policy based on residency or not.
Well, I mean, that's what we've
I
done.
think you could end up in some legal issues there, whether or not they're a resident.
We're only liable if it's.
Yeah.
Beecher?
That's what we've done.
I'm curious to hear what trustee Willing says, being in the insurance business himself.
You know what, there's always a risk, you know, with anything. And, I think if we're gonna change it, we need to give obvious notice, you know, to the residents that this is what's gonna happen.
Well, I don't think,
I'm afraid
again,
to give
it's
notice
not
to
something
a
that's
lot of
commonly known
claims.
to begin with.
Okay.
From what I understand, it's been taken on a case-by-case basis, because it's only been like one incident, we haven't had one, like this, the last one happened in,
2013.
yeah, they don't happen that often. So, and all it is just someone brought it to our attention, it's an offer, good pay to deductible, that's all it is. And again, I'm getting the consensus, or getting the feeling that it's a practice that we should stop, and we certainly can't do that in the future. That's the end of it. Frank?
I'm abstaining.
Can I make a suggestion? Can we remove this bill from the list of bills, vote on the bills, and then have a separate motion on this, so we don't confuse the two?
Is that fine?
Are we doing a separate motion on this bill? I mean, we're not doing a motion on policy, because we have a policy.
Someone would have to make a motion to pay the bills and to
Minus-
remove
With
the
the
two.
exception of that one for, so we can, so there can be further discussion on that bill.
Okay.
Unless, of course, there are other questions on the bill.
Yeah, I have a few. EOS Global traffic safety cones, $1,000. We shutting down the Dan Ryan, or?
It'd be a question of the sheet.
That's a lot. Safety cones are like $12 to $15.
These are a little more expensive, these are 36-inch for speeds up to 55 plus.
Are these ones with the strobe lights in them?
No, no,
No?
it's just a pallet of cones we ordered for all the squads, get 5 cones, as well as the EMA. That way we can, you know, a lot of times we're running only a few cars where we could block off with cones.
So you've never had cones before?
We had some that were pretty beat up. They were how do I put this? They're just a weird mix and match of cones that they've gotten from all over, different colors. They're ripped up, and you know, it was time to replace them.
5 cones per squad and per EMA. How
Yeah.
many squads and EMAs are there?
We have
Cars.
I think we had 8 for our patrol guys, and then 5 for EMA, and we still have like around 10 cones left in the garage.
10 spares.
Yeah,
How many cones did that get?
I want to say they picked up 100.
So about $10 each?
Yeah, at least. They're probably more than that. They were expensive, to be honest with you, but they're the full-size ones. I mean, they go for anywhere from the 12-inch, 18-inch up to 36, and it all determines the speed limit on the road where you're going to put them on. So we got the ones that you put them pretty much from anywhere. Visibility up to, you know, X amount of feet.
I looked it up on the.
Oh,
website.
okay, so you did,
You
yeah.
got the ones with the reflective
The
around.
reflectives,
The
yeah.
36-inch.
Yep.
Whose budget does come out of EMA or police?
Okay, so they were about like 13 each. That's about in the range you were saying, John, right? For
Yeah,
cone price?
Yeah, the 28-inch were 15, and I think the 36 were actually $20. But I didn't know if, you know, maybe they got a discount being on a police force,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me looking online. And they got better pricing. That was all I had.
The decab uniforms, is it EMA, police, or public works?
That's all, everybody, including the office staff. And I think even Greg and I bought some shirts.
So it's a hodgepodge of everybody?
It's a hodgepodge.
Do
There
you
was a
have
lot of
do
stuff.
you have a breakdown of that?
We'd have to go get the bills and look, there were probably 5 bills.
Do you have one
Just-
uniform?
No, I take it out of my professional development.
I gotta check every person.
I know.
I'm trying to talk to you.
Any other questions?
Well, before we remove that other charge, I have one other question about the deductible on the tree hitting the car. Did we basically already tell this resident we are going to cover this?
No.
Okay.
I informed the resident that we would submit it for payment and it's still up to the board to pay.
Okay.
And how many times have we done this before?
I know in my lifetime 3, and then he just,
4 times.
I never remember one.
But that's in the last 30 years, you know.
I just remember the house.
Where the thing fell in the storm?
Yeah, it was
You remember
that tree.
you
Mhm.
remember
Well,
the
yeah.
deductible on that, John? That was $1,000 we paid per house, wasn't it? It was higher than that. Was it more than that?
Well-
2,500? Something like that.
Yeah, and I can actually see that. I mean, if they asked us to remove it, we did not remove it, and then it fell in the house.
But the winds were over 100 miles an hour that day. That was really bad.
That was the only tree down.
I feel like if it's a tree in our parkway and our responsibility, if it's a dead tree that we've not been able to remove yet, and something happens, then I feel like we should be responsible. Because it was already dead, we knew it was dead, we didn't remove it, but if it's a live tree, I don't know.
Well, another issue with this is the same tree that a branch cracked off before, correct? We
Oh.
didn't remove it, and is that our policy to remove the tree if,
Well,
We don't really have
You
written
look
policy
at it,
on
make
it.
a judgment, Scott. I mean, just because
Right.
a tree drops into it, you're gonna cut it down, you know.
so it's the same thing, you know, should we have taken that tree down?
but again, in all fairness, nobody in this room dealt with that. That was between Buddy and then the homeowner, and the homeowner may have said, it doesn't matter to me either way, and so we decided to leave it up. I can't answer that, right?
I can't see it taking down a live tree. I mean, trees lose branches. You know, if it loses a limb and the tree is still a viable live tree, I mean, why would you cut down a tree that?
Is that tree still on our preferred list? Because
No,
that
Bradford
tree
pears.
snaps.
No, they planted in Southfield, no, I bet you.
On Church Road also,
And
we got,
Church Road, almost all of them split.
Yeah,
So
Yep.
that's
those
not on the list.
things, those things snap.
They're beautiful trees. They
I got one in
flower.
my front yards.
Do you?
yeah.
But they were on the list when,
They were on the list years ago, yes.
Some park my car.
don't park your car.
Right.
Just the one I wanna get rid of.
That's a total.
All right, I'd like to make a motion approving the bills for the prior month, withdrawing the $250 to Barb Podget out of the bills and adding the Johnny on the spot for a total of $202,140.81.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Missouri?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
Capros?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Okay. All right, consider a resolution of withdrawal from the Eastern Will Benefit Council subpool and authorizing the membership to, in the Southwest Alliance for Health Management. These two subpools desire to merge for efficiency, and the village administrator can explain this point at the meeting.
Our subpool needed to grow in order to level out the playing field on catastrophic loss. So when Rantoul wanted to join the big pool, which covers everything over 35,000 per claim, they suggested that Rantoul become part of Eastern Will Benefits Council. Unfortunately, Rantoul ran hot their discounting is different because they're in the Carl Clinic, not in our medical system, so their discounting is different. They were killing us. So the IPVC agreed to remove Rantoul from our sub-pool and let them be a standalone member. But as a result, we still had the problem of not being big enough as a group to handle we needed a larger volume of claims to offset catastrophic loss. So the Western Will Group had the same issue as cost of medical goes up. So the recommendation was, and there was a lot of study done into it, that SWAM, the Western Will Group, and Eastern Will Group merge into one countywide group, but we do have one or two communities that are in Will County, and I think Glen Ellen is one of them. But these are much more stable groups. They're on the same Blue Cross Blue Shield plan we're on, and it makes sense to do this. So far, all of the communities in Eastern Will have adopted it, except I think Stager's meeting tonight. We're meeting tonight, and Peaton's meeting tonight. So we want to get this done so on August 24th we can form the new pool and move forward. That's about as simple as I can explain it.
How many towns are in that pool?
The new pool,
Yeah.
probably about 15 communities. Yeah.
And
It depends on how you identify, because Homewood Public Library is a member, but they only have 2 people in it. You know, but they're an entity. So as far as lives go, you want to be at about 350 to 400 lives. This will be the right number that we need.
and no medical group issues.
No, we're all in the same system. The problem is we were in Carl Clinic system with Rantoul, and the discounting was different, so we were subsidizing their more ineffective discounts down there.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, but the only reason that the village board has to take action is we have to dissolve EWBC and merge with SWAM.
Resolution number?
2018, I'm sorry, 2018-09.
49?
209-09.
Oh, 09. All right, I'd like to make a resolution number 2018-09, withdrawing from the Eastern Will Benefit Council subpool and authorizing membership in the Southwest Alliance for Health Management.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Do you want to vote on the bill, or
So Terrell, you have to
bring
use
it up,
some
or?
motion to make the motion.
The motion's been made to withdraw the bill. That would indicate that we're not paying it, but if someone wants to bring it up as a separate issue to pay the deductible, that's up to the board members to decide. But right now, it's not on the bill list.
Okay.
And we would consider that policy from now on, and we won't offer to pay deductibles. Is that correct, Mr. President? That's correct. Okay.
That's why I moved on, that's the way I interpreted
All right.
it.
All right.
Okay, there was an invitation for Prairie State College for Crete and Beecher Community Celebration Day on Thursday, August 23rd from 5 to 7 at Prairie State. If you're thinking about going, let us know so we can carpool, or you can meet us there, or whatever the case may be. I believe you had to RSVP for that, so if you're gonna go, we need to know. St. James Hospital, there was a letter in there closing on or about August 29th, I believe. Right now, it sounds like that is going to be the closing day. I do have 2 other things, but do it under new business. Any other old business to come before the board?
I just have a question about bills and alibi. For the card statement list, some of the stuff you can look at and figure out what it's from. But a lot of the stuff like Amazon, we're taking hundreds of dollars, are there itemized lists for those to see what that is? I'm not asking for it right this second, I'm asking if there is an itemized list of that.
We can have the clerk produce that list of what those are, because the receipts are tagged in the bill.
Well, I mean, is there like a limit if it's over a certain amount, it has to be itemized, is it? You know, I'm not looking at every significant dime, everything, I mean, it's, employee, we trust your judgment, I'm just curious, some of these other ones get bigger, and, you know, the Amazons, that's millions of
Yeah,
products.
the Amazon bill that I charged, I know, was for the air conditioner at well 3. We had to buy a new air conditioner at well 3, that was the cheapest rate.
Is that,
That was on mine.
Is that correlated in the listing somewhere? Instead of asking you guys?
It's in the bill file, everything is written down as to what it is, and there's account numbers written on it. And Frank, you probably see those when you sign off on those bills.
All the copies of every receipt for everything in
Yeah.
order gets attached to the credit card bill itself.
So it's in the list of the bill, it's in the bill file list?
It's in the bill file, yeah, and the stuff that's all under my list were printer, ink, toner, one was a file, small file thing.
Okay.
Most of them, the $100 ones were toner and ink for Works printers, because the one that Buddy had, I think the printer was out of toner, and then they had needed also some ink.
Okay.
So that's what most of mine were.
Yeah, the Farm and Fleet bill was actually a Fourth of July bill, that was for a pop-up tent or a booth. So Fourth of July reimburses the village at $106.24. I believe Marcy already cut that check.
Yep.
And then mine was the air conditioner, and then the municipal league, registration. But the rest of these, like Glow With Us, I'm sure that has to do with the police night out.
And the one that says parade, national night out, too, this sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not looking for every single little nickel and dime, like I said, some of just the bigger ones. It's one item, it's one item, I didn't know if there's an actual itemized list of what it was somewhere.
Yeah, the biggest one was that air conditioner for well three.
But if it's in the bills, I have a question.
And anytime the other board members want to look at those, the credit, because I know the credit card bills can be complicated because you don't know what it is when it says Amazon. So if you want to take a look at it, just let me know.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else have any old business? Okay, in a new business, Bob and I were invited to the Beecher Fellowship Baptist Church for their 35th anniversary, which they celebrated this year. I'd like to congratulate that church for that. Pastor had invited us, Bob gave a little speech there. We were there for 4 hours. Also, the Knights of Columbus has requested to solicit in front of the businesses in town for their annual candy day, raise money for their causes or whatever the case may be. It will be on Friday, September 21st through Sunday, September 23rd, and they usually go for a waltz, if I remember right. Anybody have any problems with that? Jeanette follows up with a letter saying that they can't solicit in the streets.
Oh, intersections, Route 1.
Yeah. The streets. Any other new business coming before the board?
Yeah, I got something, the speaker. So I talked to the mayor about this. After our comprehensive plan thing, it got me thinking a lot about it, and, which was great that we had participation, and we had really good participation. A lot of it was we're coming up with a plan for Beecher in 2040, and a lot of the people that participated may not be looking to be raising families in 2040. And then a lot of them have already raised their families in Beecher. But anyway, I spoke about it before, and I've told the mayor about it. There's a company out there called Eagle Talent, I think it's called. And they have what they call generational speakers. And they'll come out, they'll talk to businesses, they'll talk to you about generational differences. And I think myself as a Generation X, I think we got pretty much a 50-50 board here with Gen X and boomers. But I don't know how much any of us really know about millennials, or even a younger generation coming up behind the millennials. And those are the people that are gonna be raising families here in Beecher in 2040. I think it could be something that could be beneficial to help us understand the younger generations and what they may be looking for, because unfortunately we just didn't get a lot of participation from those generations. Now I do know they were gonna talk to the school, but we didn't really get any millennial generation people here and their input. So if you can't get it from them, I think our best bet is to possibly try to learn about them. So if the board is interested, I would volunteer on working on communicating with them. There's one speaker that I have seen before. He'd be coming from Minnesota, but there is another speaker that I've seen that I could reach out to her. I haven't seen her, but I've read about her. She does a lot like this, and she's in Illinois, so a lot of times these speakers, you have to pay their transportation and stuff like that. With her being in Illinois, she may not be that expensive. And I think it'd be something good for the chamber to possibly get involved in the village with. I think it could benefit the chamber, business owners, them understanding generations, and if they're trying to target that demographic, possibly now or in the future, it might not hurt for them also. It would be an unbudgeted item, so we'd have to do some sort of supplemental appropriation, and we'd have to obviously give something or overspend in the budget if we were to do this, but, I think the other thought on it is too is, my initial thought was it would be cool to have them come to an intergovernmental meeting. But you could even take it one step further and offer this as a service, this speaker, to all the residents, have it in a gymnasium, have it open, and, you know, if a resident wants to come and possibly benefit from it in their personal life or in their work life, it could be a positive thing too. So,
The average.
I mean, if the board's interested, I would like to see us reach out to all the other boards if they wanna get involved in it, great, if they don't, they ain't got the money there or whatever, that's fine, but, I think it's something that could benefit us immensely, as a board moving forward and trying to come up with this 2040 comprehensive plan.
What we're pointing at is, she caught it and I caught it too, it just so happens at the municipal league, it's boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, oh my, there's a session then. Granted, it's only an hour session, you have to get a lot.
Yeah, well, you got, yeah, it's the speaker and, you know, how many people are gonna question it and stuff like that.
So, what I'm getting at is, I think, he's talked to me quite a bit about it, and, I think he is on the right track. I mean, I agree that in our volunteers and all our, you know, we are trying to encourage them to get involved, and not getting involved. I saw that at the planning night, that you're right, there wasn't very many, you know, young people there. And these are the people that are gonna develop our community for down the road, and they're the ones who should be sitting here saying, this is what we want. I think he hit the nail right on the head.
Look at McDonald's and how they're rebranding themselves.
Everybody, yeah, I mean, everybody's doing it, but, I mean, I even think about it as myself, and I mean, I'm 43, but in 2040, I'm gonna be 65. And I hope to God I'm still alive, but, you know, and hopefully, you know, enjoying some retirement and that, but, I mean, the type of things that they're looking for as far as in the community, I mean, the transportation end of it, I think I would benefit from, but what, you know, I was kinda on the very younger end of a lot of the feedback that we've gotten so far.
I think if we can get some information, I know the chamber, and I tend to agree with you, the more the better. The chamber is looking for guest speakers at their meetings, but I don't think this would work there.
Can you do us a favor, are you coming to intergovernmental on this 29th?
Yeah.
Ask that question.
I mean, I'll put something together with, you know, snippets of their speeches, it's online and stuff like that, where, I mean, you can hear, I mean, and a lot of the big talk is about the millennial generation. They will touch a little bit about what some are calling the I generation coming up, because iPhones, iPads, this and that, but,
Why they call it the I generation?
yeah.
I did the other day, I realized why.
yeah, the letter I generation, yeah, and, because they do it with a lowercase I. But, I mean, the millennials are, that's your wheelhouse right now. I mean, your millennials are, from the way I understand generations, and every speaker you talk to, they may be off by a couple of years here and there at date of birth, but that millennial generation is gonna be in their 30s to 30 to 50. I mean, that's your residents when you look at our median age of 43. And that was the other thing I noticed was at 43, I know we have a lot of senior residents in Beecher. But if we have a median age of 43, for every 63-year-old, there's a 23-year-old living in town. So.
I raised two millennials, I know they're different.
They are, but they're not so different if you understand them. I mean, Gen X, we were very different to traditionalists. Traditionalists just did not understand Generation X. But I think I think it could be something positive. If everyone's interested, I'll put something together and get pricing or whatever.
I'm interested.
But float it to the whole intergov board.
Yeah, I will. I'll have
Planners would be there too.
Did the chamber approach us for something else, approach you guys for something else?
That's sort of what started the conversation, is they approached us to make a video.
Like a commercial or?
No, they Rhoda Signs out of South Holland, they have made promotional videos, and that's what they're trying to do. The question came up is that why can't our businesses get people from Beecher to shop in Beecher and stay in Beecher? Okay, and, you know, do all this stuff in Beecher. So, the question came up and says, well, what if we, this road of signs, made a promotional video of the village and the businesses, and including all the businesses, that's where the village would get involved, it's all the businesses plus the chamber members. Okay, and then to John's point was that, okay, number one, what's your target audience? And if the video, whatever it's made, it should be made toward the younger generation, or maybe even both generations, all the generations, you know what I mean? There's a point to the generation thing. So they have approached us on that, yeah, and they're working on it from what I understand.
The chambers?
I mean, just, and I told the mayor, just, I mean, this is just like one tiny, tiny 2-sentence thing of like something that they bring up. And these are the type of things they'll talk about is, you know, in helping you understand generations, and they said, the one speaker said to us, goes, you have to understand, millennials are different. Baby boomers go to the airport and get on an airplane and they're afraid that the plane will crash. Millennials go to an airport and get on a plane and hope that someone doesn't crash the plane. Very similar thing, end result is the same, but your thought process, and it's the world events that have changed their lives and things that they've seen growing up. So, I mean, it's little things like that that makes you kind of step back and kind of understand different generations and people. And it goes both ways. I mean, it helps you understand, you know, a Gen X understand a boomer, you know, a Gen X, along with all traditionalists. As it may seem, millennials get along best with traditionalists out of all the 4 major generations right now. As odd as that may be.
The thought I had was that maybe if the thought I had was that it's a possibility that maybe they're marketing wrong, because they're not thinking like that. So maybe these people, the business people, need to hear that, you know, I need to market this in a different way. I don't know, just a thought there. And then what they're supposed to do is, when they have this road of signs come out to make a presentation, they're gonna let us know what date it is, and then we invite the whole village board to go and hear that presentation. Anything else? This was really, really deep.
I don't know if this is new business, just a question. I noticed behind McDonald's, behind Orchard there, the signs that are posted with the land's up for bid. Is there any information on there, like what's going on with that? It's just foreclosed and it's up?
It's owned by the Will County trustee. In other words, it went to tax sale, nobody bought it at tax sale. So the Will County trustee owns them, and they go through a company, and they try to peddle the lots for $600 a lot. The problem is, you gotta pay the back taxes on top of the $600. So I don't know what's gonna happen. We're gonna continue mowing those lots and cleaning the property, because it's not fair to those town owners that live there to look at that. But I don't know what else we can do. We probably have to mow it one more time this year yet.
There's one in Indiana as well, right along the creek.
Oh, that one's been there every year. It goes up for tax sale because it's a lot that's not buildable, and it's just in the creek easement. No one's gonna buy it, you know? That lot's been going up for tax sale every year for 20 years. But this one, that worries me because the fees are gonna be so exorbitant on those lots, the past taxes and everything has to be paid. I don't know if anyone can ever afford to buy it.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
James, you have a
Missouri,
yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Whaling,
Yes.
Caprows,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Rouse.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.